Before you dream of millions, you must first dream of meaning. Because money without meaning is just paper in your pocket, but purpose turns it into impact. If I had to start over, I wouldn't start with a bank account. I would start with a vision. I would plant seeds in my mind before I planted seeds in the ground. And I would repeat the right principles every single day until results had no choice but to follow me. Today, I'm going to share those principles. The ones that never fail, no matter how many times you have to begin again. If I had to start all over again, the very first thing I would do is plant the right seed. You see, wealth is never the starting point. It is the fruit. And fruit always comes from a seed. But here's the problem. Most people are trying to pick fruit from trees they never planted. They want the reward without the root. They chase the product without building the process. And that's why they struggle year after year, wondering why nothing changes. The first seed you must plant is not money. It is not even opportunity. It is a seed of understanding. The seed is a clear vision of what you are here to do. Without this, every effort will be scattered. And scattered seeds don't grow strong trees. When you know your vision, every action, every connection, every decision becomes a deliberate planting toward that purpose. I remember learning early in life that the soil doesn't care who you are. The soil doesn't care if you are rich or poor, educated or uneducated. The soil only responds to the seed you plant and the care you give it. Life works the same way. The principles of growth are not biased. They work for anyone who applies them. That means if you commit to planting the right seed and you tend it faithfully, the harvest is inevitable. But planting the seed takes faith because at first there is nothing to see. You water, you wait, you work, and sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. This is where most people give up. They abandon the field too early. But here's the truth: the seed is working long before you see the sprout. And if you stop now, you will never see what was already on its way to you. The seed you plant today will determine the fruit you eat tomorrow. And the size of your seed will determine the size of your harvest. If you plant small dreams, you will reap small outcomes. If you plant big, bold, daring visions, you will reap a harvest so large it will feed generations after you. So if I was starting again, I would stop asking, where will I get the money? And start asking, what seed do I need to plant? Because when the right seed is in the ground and the right principles are applied, money is only a byproduct. The real wealth is the tree you build, one that cannot be uprooted by storms, markets, or time. And once you've planted the first seed, the next step will surprise you. Because it's not just about planting, it's about protecting. And that, my friend, is where we go next. If I had to start over, I would not begin with money, I would begin with vision. Why? Because vision will outlast money every single time. You can lose money, you can lose resources, you can lose connections. But if your vision is alive, you can rebuild it all. Vision is the blueprint that tells you where you are going, why you are going, and what will keep you going when everything else falls apart. Too many people build their lives around what they have instead of what they see. And when what they have is taken away, they lose direction. They lose confidence, they lose hope. But vision is different. Vision is an internal picture of a future that already exists in your spirit. A future so clear, so powerful that it refuses to die, even when everything around you says it's impossible. You see, money is temporary. Markets rise, markets fall, economies change. But vision, true vision, is eternal. It is not subject to the rise and fall of the world's systems. That's why, if you only have money, you can still go broke. But if you have vision, even if you start with nothing, you can build again and again and again. Vision also attracts resources. People are not drawn to your bank account, they are drawn to your clarity, your certainty, your conviction. Investors want to know where you're going. Partners want to know what they're building with you. And when they see you are not guessing, when they see that you know exactly what the end looks like, they are willing to come alongside you and make it happen. But here's the danger. Vision without discipline is just a dream. You can have the clearest vision in the world, but if you do not have the commitment to walk toward it every day, it will stay locked in your mind and never appear in your life. Vision must be pursued with action, deliberate, daily, disciplined action. That's when it becomes unstoppable. So, if I had to begin again, I would sit down, close my eyes, and see it before I try to touch it. I would let that vision burn so deep inside me that no amount of loss, no amount of fear, no amount of setbacks could erase it. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And once you know where you're going, everything in life begins to align to get you there. But vision alone is not enough. You must understand the law that transforms that vision into abundance. And when you learn that law, everything changes. That's exactly where we're headed next. If I had to start over, I would not depend on luck. I would not depend on chance. I would depend on law. Because there is a hidden law that turns effort into abundance. This law is not written in government books. It is not taught in most schools, but it is as real as gravity, and it works for anyone who understands it. It is the law of sowing and reaping. Everything in life operates by this principle. Whatever you sow, you will reap. Sow kindness, and it returns to you. Sow dishonesty, and it will eventually find its way back. Sow excellence, and doors will open that you never knocked on. Sow laziness, and you will inherit lack. This law is unchanging, unshakable, and undeniable. And the beauty is you control the seed. Effort alone is not enough. You can work hard in the wrong field. You can sweat over bad soil. You can labor without wisdom and still fail. The law says you must plant the right seed in the right place at the right time. When you do, your effort is multiplied. And that's the key, multiplication. Abundance is not the result of random hustle. It is the result of intentional sowing. But here's the truth many avoid. You cannot reap in the same season you plant. You must be patient enough to allow the seed to grow, mature, and bear fruit. This is why so many people give up too soon. They think the law isn't working because they don't see results immediately. But the law is working always. The moment you plant, the process begins. And remember, the harvest is always greater than the seed. You may start with a handful of ideas, a small act of service, a little investment of time. But when the law finishes its work, it will return to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's why you can never underestimate a single good action done with the right heart and the right motive. If I had to begin again, I would make sure that every word I speak, every action I take, every relationship I build is a seed that will bring a harvest I want to live in. Because the law doesn't take a day off. Whether you believe in it or not, it's shaping your future right now. But here's the question. Once the seed begins to grow, how do you turn small beginnings into unstoppable growth? That is the next secret I would never ignore. If I had to start over, I would never despise small beginnings, because every great tree was once a tiny seed. Every empire was once a small idea. Every fortune was once a single decision. The mistake most people make is looking at where they are and thinking it's too small to matter. But small beginnings are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of potential. When you start small, you are free to grow without the weight of huge expectations. You have room to make mistakes, to learn, to adjust. A small start forces you to be creative, to stretch what you have, to make every resource count. And the truth is, the same principles that grow a little seed will grow a forest if you are faithful. Here's the secret: small does not stay small when you are consistent. Consistency turns small steps into giant leaps. $1 invested every day becomes a fortune over time. 1 hour of learning every day becomes mastery in a few years. 1 act of kindness every day creates a reputation that will open doors you could never open on your own. The problem is, people underestimate the power of daily, disciplined action. Growth works like this. At first, you see nothing. Then you see a little. Then suddenly you see more than you imagined. That's the power of compound growth. It doesn't shout at the beginning, but it explodes at the end. If you quit before the explosion, you will think the process failed. But if you stay long enough, you will see the reward. If I had to begin again, I would plant small, grow steady, and stay patient. I would not rush the process, because rushing can destroy what you're building. A skyscraper takes time because the foundation is deep. And the deeper the foundation, the taller the building. So when life seems slow, when progress feels invisible, remember, the foundation is being laid for something higher than you can see right now. But here's the best part. Small beginnings, handled correctly, produce unstoppable momentum. Once growth starts rolling, it becomes harder to stop than it was to start. And when you reach that point, your progress will feel almost effortless, because the momentum will carry you further than your initial strength ever could. But there's still another level, because growth is good, but growth that multiplies is far greater. And there is a principle hidden inside you right now that can turn your growth into multiplication. That's exactly what we'll uncover next. If I had to start over, I would look closely at what I already have, because hidden in every gift is the principle of multiplication. You see, most people wait for more before they start, but the truth is, you already have something in your hands right now that can multiply. It may be a skill, a talent, an idea, a resource, or even a relationship, and if you use it wisely, it will grow. The mistake many make is burying their gift because they think it's too small. But a gift unused is a seed unplanted. A gift exercised, however, begins to increase in value and in influence. And here's the beautiful part. When you develop your gift, it attracts people, opportunities, and resources that you never had before. Suddenly, doors begin to open, not because of who you know, but because of what you can do. The law of multiplication says, whatever you invest into your gift will come back to you multiplied. If you invest time, it grows in skill. If you invest creativity, it grows in uniqueness. If you invest discipline, it grows in excellence. And excellence is magnetic. It pulls success toward you. The reason many never multiply is not because they lack opportunity, but because they never fully use what they already have. Think about it. The greatest fortunes in history often began with one simple ability, refined over time, multiplied into different forms, and eventually touching millions. Your gift can do the same, but only if you stop comparing it to others and start multiplying it in your own way. Comparison kills multiplication because it makes you doubt the value of what's in your hands. If I had to start again, I would not wait for perfect conditions. I would take the little I have and I would use it today. Because gifts grow when they are used, not when they are hidden. And as it grows, it will not just add to your life, it will multiply beyond you. Your gift is not meant to serve only you, it's designed to serve others. And the more people it serves, the more valuable it becomes. But multiplication requires one more thing. You must release some of what you have in order to receive more. If you hold on to everything, it stops the flow. When you give, share, and invest your gift, it creates space for an even greater return. That's how your small ability becomes a major influence. And once you understand multiplication, the next step is knowing why you're multiplying in the first place. Because without purpose, even abundance can be empty. And that is where we go next. if I had to start over, I would never chase profit before purpose, because purpose must always precede profit. Purpose is the reason you exist, the reason you wake up in the morning, the reason you are here on this earth. Without it, money becomes meaningless, success feels empty, and achievement loses its flavor. So many people spend their lives running after profit, and when they finally get it, they realize it doesn't fill the emptiness inside. That's because profit was never designed to give you identity. It was never designed to give you meaning. Purpose is what gives profit its value. Purpose tells money where to go, how to serve, and why it matters. When you know your purpose, profit becomes a tool, not a target. It becomes a servant, not a master. And that's when you truly become wealthy, not just in numbers, but in impact. The most fulfilled people in the world are not necessarily the richest in dollars, they are the richest in purpose. They have aligned their gifts, their vision, and their daily work with something bigger than themselves. Purpose also keeps you steady when life shakes you. If your foundation is only profit, a bad season can wipe you out emotionally. But if your foundation is purpose, you can lose money, lose resources, even lose opportunities, and still keep moving forward. Why? Because purpose is not tied to your bank account. It's tied to your very being. And here's something powerful: profit always follows purpose. When you live in purpose, you create value. And value is what people are willing to exchange for money. The more value you bring, the more profit naturally flows to you. But when you chase profit without purpose, you may earn money temporarily, but you will always be searching for more, because nothing can replace the fulfillment that comes from doing what you were born to do. If I had to start again, I would spend time discovering, clarifying, and committing to my purpose before I ever drew up a business plan. I would make sure my work, my ideas, and my investments all aligned with the reason I'm here. Because once purpose is in place, everything else falls into place. But even with purpose and profit working together, there's something else you need every single day. Something small but powerful. Something that builds unshakable wealth, not just in your finances, but in your character, your habits, and your influence. And that is what we're about to uncover next. If I had to start over, I would build my life around one powerful daily habit, because habits create the future. A single action done once can make a difference, but a single action done daily can transform your life completely. Wealth is never an accident. It is the harvest of consistent seeds planted over time, and the habit you choose will determine the harvest you reap. The truth is, people don't decide their future, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. If you develop a habit of learning every day, you will grow wiser than most people around you. If you develop a habit of saving and investing, you will build financial stability without even realizing it. If you develop a habit of discipline, you will achieve things that others will only dream about. Habits are quiet builders. They work in the background while the world is distracted. But here's the danger: bad habits work the same way. If you develop a habit of procrastination, it will rob you silently. If you develop a habit of waste, it will drain your resources slowly. If you develop a habit of neglecting opportunities, you will miss open doors you never even saw. Your habits are either working for you or against you. The most successful people are not always the most talented, but they are almost always the most consistent. They have built habits that push them forward, whether they feel motivated or not. Motivation may get you started, but habits keep you moving when motivation runs out. That's why, if I had to start over, I would choose just one or two life, giving habits and commit to them no matter what. It could be the habit of reading 30 minutes a day. It could be the habit of waking up early to plan your day. It could be the habit of investing a small amount daily. Whatever it is, It must align with your vision, serve your purpose, and bring you closer to your goals. And the power is this: once a habit is formed, it no longer feels like a burden. It becomes part of who you are. If I had to begin again, I would guard my daily routine like treasure, because how you spend your day is how you spend your life. The little things you repeat will eventually shout in the results you see. And when the right habits are in place, success becomes inevitable. But even with the right habits, there's one more element that changes everything. It's not just about what you do, but how you handle what you have. And when you master this, money itself will start working for you. That's where we go next. If I had to start over, I would master time. Because if you master time, money will work for you. You can lose money and get it back. But once time is gone, it's gone forever. Time is life. Waste your time and you are wasting your life. Invest your time and you are investing in your future. Wealth is not built by those who are the busiest. It's built by those who use their time with purpose. Time is the only resource that is equally given to everyone, rich or poor, educated or uneducated, known or unknown. The difference is never the amount of time, it's the use of it. Every day you are given 24 hours. Some will spend it, some will waste it, but the wise will invest it. And the way you use your hours will determine the way you live your years. If you want money to work for you, you must stop trading time for money. When you trade time for money, your income stops the moment you stop working. But when you use your time to build systems, skills, and streams of income that work without you, then time becomes your partner, not your enemy. That's the shift that separates those who struggle from those who succeed. To master time, you must know your priorities. Not everything deserves your attention. If you spend your time on what is urgent but unimportant, you will always be busy but never effective. But if you spend your time on what builds your vision, your purpose, and your wealth, you will see results that others only dream about. You must also understand the power of multiplication when it comes to time. If you can create something once and have it serve you many times, like a product, a book, a system, or an investment, you are multiplying your hours. You are allowing one moment of effort to pay you for years to come. That is how money begins to work for you instead of you working for it. If I had to start again, I would schedule my life like a precious resource. I would guard my mornings for creation, my afternoons for execution, and my evenings for reflection. I would refuse to waste my hours on distractions that do not align with my vision. And I would remember time is the currency of destiny. Because in the end, it's not the money you make, but the life you build with the time you have that matters. So start now, while you still have the gift of today. Decide how you will spend it, because tomorrow is never promised. And if you truly value your time will begin to value you back with a harvest that no clock can measure and no calendar can contain.